In this video, we start configuring our simple order to cash process. And we start with the first step, which is creating a sales order. And to do this, we have to configure the organizational data of sales and distribution. So we are going to start by configuring the sales organization, the distribution channel, and the division, and also the three of them together will form the sales areas. Welcome to another video in the SAP Configuration from Zero playlist, where we learn SAP configuration using the business process method. So we choose a business process and we run it end to end. And we have to configure everything needed in the system from zero to run every step in the process. Our first objective, abracadabra. Our first objective was to configure a full procure to pay process, a very simple one, starting with the purchase order, goods receipt, and invoice receipt. And then the last video, abracadabra. Our first objective was to configure a full procure to pay process, a very simple one, starting with the purchase order, goods receipt, and then invoice receipt. And in the last video, we successfully finished the last step, the invoice receipt. So now we choose our second business process. Abracadabra. Our first objective was to configure a full procure to pay process, a very simple one, starting with the purchase order, goods receipt, and then invoice receipt. And in the last video, we successfully finished this objective. Now we move to our second business process, which is a simple order to cash process. So we have to execute a sales order, then a goods issue, and the billing document for the customer. Abracadabra. Our first objective was to configure and execute a full procure to pay process, a very simple one, starting with the purchase order, goods receipt, and invoice receipt. And in the last video, we successfully posted our invoice receipt. So now we have terminated our first objective. Now we move to the second objective, which is to configure and execute a full order to cash process, starting with the sales order, goods issue, and the customer billing. Again, a very simple process, and we have to configure everything in each step from zero. This playlist is getting bigger and bigger, and to be able to follow the playlist, you can go to my website, galalconsulting.com, and then in the top menu, you are going to find courses. Here you have the different playlists I have on the channel. Not all of them are here yet, but I'm working on this. And the first one you will find is the SAP configuration course. So this is the playlist you are watching right now. If you go to this link, it will take you to this page that has the course map. So you see this diagram, each box here is clickable, and if you click on it, it will take you directly to the video on YouTube. You see, it is not very clear here because it is very small, because the playlist is getting bigger. In order to zoom in, you can click here, and this will zoom in into the different boxes. Now you can go through the different boxes and click on anyone to go directly to the video. The yellow boxes are the ones that are included in this playlist that you have to watch and you have to configure to be able to run the process. And the blue boxes are deep dive videos that explain more details about certain topics. So for example, when you are configuring the company code, this video will explain the things that you need to insert in order to be able to run the process. But if you would like to understand more details, then you can go to any of these to understand more about this specific topic. Scroll through the different boxes to understand all the steps that we did so far. And then if you look here, the last one we did in the last video was maintain default tax code for invoicing. And this was the last thing we had to configure to be able to post the vendor invoice, which we already did. Now we move to the next one, which is define sales area. Then we have define customer master data, define pricing procedure. So these are the things I'm going to start explaining from now on. And as you see, there are no links yet because I have not yet edited the videos or added them. So the boxes are not clickable. For any video that's already edited and published, you will find the box is clickable. So if you watch this in the future, I hope all of these will be clickable and you will also find other videos below. Now, before you continue watching this video and learning the configuration, the most important thing to do is to understand the business process first. So go to YouTube and type order to cash Abdullah Galal. You are going to find a video that I recorded a while ago that explains the order to cash process step by step with all the different accounting entries, and also I demonstrated the full process on SAP S4HANA. And you have to watch these two videos, the process and the demo, before you come back and continue this video. We always have to start by understanding the business process before we go to the back end and start the configuration. So go ahead, watch the business process and the demo, then come back to this video and let's start our configuration. The first step we have in the order to cash process is to create the sales order, as you already know from the demo video. So to create a sales order, we use the transaction VA01. Once you get here, you have to insert the order type and the organizational data. Whenever we configure any process in SAP, we always start with the organizational data. Same as we did with the procure to pay. We had to configure the company code, the purchase organization, and the plant. Now in the sales and distribution process, we also have to start with the sales and distribution organizational data or enterprise structure. And we start with the most important one, which is the sales organization. And this is similar to the company code in finance. So the sales organization is the owner of anything that happens in sales. Then we have the distribution channel and the division. We're going to look into the meaning of each of them quickly and how to configure them. So first, now I want to configure the sales organization. And let's always remember our objective is to do the shortest way possible to configure everything needed to run a simple order to cash process in order to learn how to configure SAP step by step. So our objective is not to dive deeply in all the topics. It is just to be able to run the simple process, okay? So now what I need is a sales organization. I don't know how to configure one, so I can right click here, click on help. It will take me to the SAP configuration menu. All of this we have seen together in the procure to pay, so we already know how to manage our way throughout the system. So now I have clicked on customizing, continue without specifying a project, and this will show me all the areas in the SAP configuration menu where we can configure a sales organization. The first thing we do is to look in the IMG structure here and see what we are doing. So logistics information system, no. Global trade management, no. Sales definition, yes. We are trying to create a sales order. So now if you see here, we have something called define, copy, delete, check, sales organization. This looks okay. So I can double click on it. And this will take me to the SAP configuration menu. When we get to the menu, we have to check where we are. So this is how we learn the different areas in the SAP configuration menu. So as you see, we are under enterprise structure, definition, sales and distribution. We have been here a lot in the last videos to configure company code and so on. So under financial accounting, we have the company code, and under sales and distribution, we have the sales organization. So you see the enterprise structure menu is very important, and it has all the different organization structure objects that we have to configure for the different processes. Now under sales and distribution, we have defined copy, delete, check sales organization. And as we have a deal in this playlist, not to copy anything, I'm going to define the sales organization from 0. So now let's click here. And before we go into the transaction, always we can check the IMG activity documentation. So this is the help document that will explain what is the sales organization and what are we going to do in this transaction. So you see, a sales organization includes exactly one company code. This is very important. You can assign one or more plans to one sales organization and so on. So go ahead and read this on your own. And also you can check the SAP Help library to learn more about the sales organization. Now let's move on and define our sales org. So click here. Now we have two activities. Either we define one or we copy a sales organization. So you use copy if you would like to copy one that you already have. I'm not going to copy anything, so I'm going to define from 0. So go to define. Now, if we go into the sales organization 0001, which is the standard one created in any SAP system that we can use as a reference, I can double click here just to see what is inside. So we have the sales organization code, we have a description, statistics currency, and then we have different strings here, and the sales organization calendar 01. I'm not a sales and distribution consultant, I'm a finance consultant. But I have learned with time how to configure anything I need to be able to run the process. Otherwise, I will never be able to test any process and to configure the finance part, because finance is an integrated model. So I know only the basic things that I need to do here to get the process running. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy 0001. I'm not going to copy the whole sales organization with the different configuration behind. I'm just going to copy the exact values we have here into my sales organization. So let's go back and I'm going to copy this. So it just copied whatever we have in this screen. It didn't copy any other configuration objects behind. If you copy the sales organization from outside, from the activity that we had outside, then it will copy the sales organization with all the different configuration objects assigned to it, like sales organization, distribution channels, and so on. But when I do this, I'm only copying the text. So now press enter. We have to insert a code. So let's keep using the same code that we used for the company code, AG60. All right. And I will call it AG from 0 sales org. We don't have enough space, so I just call it SORG. Enter. Now we can insert the address details. So I can insert a name here. I can also insert a country. So the sales organization is in France. The search term is AG, so this way I can easily find it whenever I want. And the language is English. I'm not going to insert anything else. And then press on OK. So now we have our sales organization. So let's go inside. So we have the statistics currency. We have our sales organization calendar. If you would like to learn the meaning of any of these fields, as usual, you right click, go to help, and this will explain what the field is used for. So take your time to learn anything you want here. Obviously, if you are not a sales and distribution consultant, so if you are someone who just wants to run the process, then you don't need to worry about all of these details. But if you are a sales and distribution consultant, then you must understand everything you have here, because this is your job, okay? Now I will just save this sales organization, add it to a request, and let's go back. So now we have our sales organization. The next thing we needed to do is to configure our distribution channel and our division, as you saw in the sales order creation screen. So we have the distribution channel here. So let's go ahead. I'm going to define also a distribution channel. To know what this means, again, go to help. You'll find a lot of details. Then let's execute. Define distribution channel. I'm not going to copy anything. I'm going to define from 0. So now let's define our own distribution channel. Let's call it, for example, AG. Okay, it doesn't exist, so let's create it. As you see for the distribution channel, if you double click, nothing happens because it is just a code and a name. Then there are other configuration things that will happen later in other transactions related to this, but for now it's only a name. So let's create a new entry, AG from 0 channel. And let's save, add to a request, and now we have our distribution channel. Now, what also we need to define is a division. So let's see, where can we define a division? If you don't know from where, you can go back to the sales order creation screen and then again follow the same way we did. So you go to help, click on customizing, it will take you to the menu. But I know that it is also in the same enterprise structure menu because all the organization structure objects are here. So let's look in logistics. We don't have it here. Yeah, we do. So define, copy, delete, check division. So there is the division creation. So let's define a division for ourselves. Go here. We can either copy or define. I'm going to define from 0, so double click. And here it is only a description and a code, nothing else. So let's create our own division. Okay, click on new entries, division AG also. And the name is again AG from 0. So now we have our sales organization, our distribution channel, and our division. We have just defined them, but from our experience from what we did before in the procure to pay process, whenever you define any organizational objects, you have to assign it to something. So when we define a plant, we have to assign it to a company code. When we define a sales organization, we also have to assign it to a company code, right? Because each sales organization can only be one company code, as we saw in the help document. So we still have some assignments to do. Otherwise, we will not be able to use them. Now we have a sales organization, a division, a distribution channel. Each one is separate. They are not connected together. We need to connect them. For any organizational object, for the basic ones, we can do the assignment also from the enterprise structure menu, as we saw with the company code and the plant. So instead of going into definition, I will close this and let's go into assignment and go again to the same menu. So we started with the sales and distribution. So here you see we have assigned sales organization to company code. If we do not do this assignment, we cannot use the sales organization because it has no company code behind. So we can start by clicking on the help document to understand what is this transaction and then go to execute. So now for each sales organization, we assign one company code. And as you see, we cannot even add any new entries. Here, we only have the sales organizations that are already created. So one sales org equal one company code. Nothing can change this, okay? So let's go to our sales org AG60. And here we insert our sales organization AG60. So now we have done our assignment. Then we save and add to a transport request. And we have assigned our sales organization to our company code. We also have assigned distribution channel to sales org and assigned division to sales org. So now we are connecting everything together. So we go to the next step, assign distribution channel to sales org. And here we can create new entries to assign our distribution channel to our sales organization. So click on new entries. So AG60 sales org is assigned to the channel AG. Then save. And now let's assign our division to the sales organization. Again, we can create new entries. So sales org AG60 is assigned to division AG. So now we assigned the distribution channel to the sales organization and we assigned the division to the sales organization. The next step is set up sales areas. So the three together, the sales org, distribution channel, and division, are called a sales area. And in order to be able to use them in any sales transaction, we have to define them together as a sales area. So we have to allow this combination. To do this, we go here, and you can also, of course, go to the documentation to understand what this is. And these are very important steps. Without the sales area assignment, you'll not be able to do anything. So now we go to set up sales area. And here we assign the three of them together. So we say that for the sales organization AG60, we can use the distribution channel AG and we can use the division AG. So now we allow the system to use these three objects together. Let's save. What else do we have? So we have here in the menu, assign sales office, assign sales group. We have not yet seen these, or we have not seen any errors related to this, so I'm going to skip for now. We also have something called assign sales organization distribution channel to plant, which looks important. So again, you can go to the help documentation to understand this, but it is a useful assignment. So I'm going to assign my plant to these two. So go here. So the plant we defined together in the playlist is AG60. So I'm going to create it, to add it here. So it's sales org AG60, distribution channel, let's say it is also AG, and the plant is AG60. So now we allowed our plant to be used with the sales organization and with the distribution channel. Okay, now let's go back and see if we want to configure anything else when we proceed with the sales order creation. So let's go back to the sales order creation. So I will go back from here, back to our sales order creation screen. And now we can go ahead and insert our sales organization AG60, our distribution channel AG, and our division AG. We also need to insert an order type, and this controls many of the things that will happen in the sales order. It is an object related to sales and distribution, and whenever we start using SAP, there are standard order types already configured that we always keep, and we can copy into other orders if needed by the client. But the standard ones are available for anyone. So whenever I'm testing the sales process, I always use the standard order type. There is no need to define a new one for my own. But if you check here the available list, the standard one we always use is OR. So if you check the list here, we have OR, standard order. So this is the one we always use in any standard sales process. So I'm going to use it. If you would like to configure your own sales order type, then please go ahead. And it is only interesting to you if you are a sales and distribution consultant. So just right click, go to help. It will take you to the configuration menu and you can go on from there. Now I'm going to use the order type OR and let's press enter. So we have this error that order type OR has not been defined in sales area AG60 AG. So the sales area is our sales organization, distribution channel and division. And our order type has not been defined for this combination. So we are missing a configuration activity. We have to allow certain order types to the sales area and we did not maintain this. So I can go here to help. And from here we can see the error message. And in the procedure, SAP has added links to all the activities that we need to do. So first we have something called combined sales organizations. We have to do this first. And here we assign each sales organization to a reference sales organization. So for our sales organization AG60, I'm going to assign it to the same reference sales org 0001. And as you see, it's already assigned. Now let's go back. We then need to combine distribution channels. So go here. And our distribution channel is under AG60, channel AG. It's not assigned, so we need to assign it to the reference distribution channel 01. I'm using the standard configuration here. And let's save. Now we have assigned our distribution channel to a reference distribution channel. And then we go to combine divisions. And again, let's go to our sales org AG60 and the division AG and assign it to the reference division 01. If you would like to understand what is the meaning of reference sales org or reference division or reference distribution channel, then you can right click, go to help, read the help document, and it will explain to you what this is. In order to continue our standard sales process, all of these details are not very interesting to us. They are only interesting if you are a sales and distribution consultant. And in this case, I really invite you to go ahead and deep dive into this. But for us, we are just going to move on to continue our process. So now we have maintained the reference division, reference distribution channel, and reference sales org. Let's save and see what is the next step. So add it to the transport request. Okay. Now let's go back. And the step after is assign permitted order types to the sales process. Now the permitted order types are assigned to the reference objects. So if we go here, you see that for the reference sales org, reference division, reference distribution channel, we assign order types. The issue that we had is that our objects were not assigned to the reference objects. So we were missing the reference division and the reference distribution channel. So SAP was not able to determine the order type from this table. But now we assigned them, so we don't need to add anything here actually. So if I look for our reference sales org 0001 that we just assigned to our sales org now, and the reference distribution channel 01, and the reference division also 01, we just assigned all of these together, and then look for the document type OR, enter. You are going to find that it is already assigned, but SAP was not able to determine it because we were not assigned to these references. Now everything is fine. We have not changed anything here, so let's go back. And we should be able to skip this error now. If I press enter, we still get the same error. So we need to restart the transaction. So /n VA01 to restart the sales order creation. And we have already all the data inserted here. So OR, sales org AG60, distribution channel AG, division AG, press enter. And now we are okay. So we have corrected this error and we maintained the needed configuration. So now we have configured our sales org, our distribution channel, our division. We have done all the assignments. So we assigned our sales org to our company code. We assigned the division to the sales org. We assigned the distribution channel to the sales org. And we also created the sales area where we assigned the three together. So we assigned the sales org, division, distribution channel together to create a sales area. And then we assigned the reference objects. So the reference sales org, reference division, reference distribution channel. And we confirmed that for this combination of organizational objects, we can maintain the order type OR. So this is it for the video for today. So now we have fully configured the sales area. In the next video, we continue from here by inserting the customer. And in order to insert the customer, we have to create it first. So we still do not have a customer master data. In the next video, we continue by creating the business partner for the customer, and we'll see how we can extend it to finance and sales views. Now your homework is to go to the SAP Help library or go to the SAP configuration menu and read the help documents next to each step that we configure today. I only showed you how to configure things and explain the basic idea, but it is up to you to see which topics you are more interested in and to deep dive into these topics. So go ahead and read the help documentation. The second thing you need to do is to go to your SAP S4HANA testing system and follow the same configuration steps that we did. If you do not have access to an SAP S4HANA testing system, you can join me in the same server that I'm using here. So you get access to this same SAP S4HANA environment. You can configure your own things and you can follow my configuration. If you would like to join me, then you can go to my website, galalconsulting.com/SAP access. And from here, you'll be able to find all the details, subscribe online, and you will get a user ID within 1 day that allows you to configure anything you want. Also, do not forget to check the course diagram on my website, galalconsulting.com. So you go to the website, then go to courses, SAP configuration course, and here you have all the videos I have published so far in the playlist, and each video you can click to go directly to the YouTube video. Hopefully, if you are watching this video in the future, this list will be much longer. And I really appreciate your comments on the diagram on the website. This is something I started doing recently and it takes a lot of effort, but all of this is okay for me as long as I see people interacting and using this in the learning process. So do not hesitate to leave me a comment on the website. It shows me that this is actually useful. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share the video with your connections, leave me a comment on the YouTube video. I always check all the comments and I try to respond as much as I can. And if you would like to support this community effort being done on the channel and to get access to the member exclusive videos and documents, then you can check the channel membership program. Go to youtube.com/@abdullahgalal/join and you will find all the details. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.